welcome back to the Quake World Championships here at QuakeCon 2023. I'm DJ Wheat, joined by ZSX and 40 Lions. Gentlemen, hello. We are about to jump into our 5th match here for groups on the A stream, which you said earlier that the B stream was the best stream. Is it still?
The B stream, sorry.
Okay.
Because of
side
profile, yeah.
We've got TOXJQ taking on SPART1E in this next matchup, and we actually have seen both of them, obviously, on both streams, but excited to see what will come. Now, I think this is sort of a safe match. No one in danger of being eliminated, but it would determine final seed going into the round of 16.
Yeah, and given the total age of this matchup, I'm sure they're protecting wrists going into the rest of the weekend. Just can play it nice and easy.
Yep, armbands, wrist holder, everything.
Talking like he's a young guy still. Like, I don't
Not
understand.
a day past 22. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Built like a truck.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about it. TOXJQ, who both these players have been in the QPL before, right? TOXJQ had some ups and downs, took a little bit of time off, back in it, both qualified to get in it, and, you know, TOXJQ is a freaking legend. Quake 3, Quake 4, and now Quake champions.
All over the map. We actually got to cast one of the matches earlier with Tox, and we kind of realized, Dan and I, that, you know, the key to it is kind of make him bored. That's the way you take down the Terminator. You just play so defensive that he gets bored, and he's like, I just want some action. And then he jumps in there. But no, we'll see how he approaches this one. Absolute legend, as you mentioned, across many titles, and it's just good to see him here, especially on LAN.
Yeah.
I think that legacy is slightly frustrating because everyone knows the player he can be, right? And then you see glimpses and microcosms of that.
Sure.
Yeah, perfection come to fruition, and then the absolute polar opposite swing effect in the last 3 minutes of the game where it just goes from 100
Not anymore. It's different on LAN
but
so far.
It's frustrating because you know what could be.
Yeah. I mean, like we've seen this with many players throughout, right? The legacy that is Quake, and you just know, and you could see it in TOXJQ, like that cyborg is still kind of in there. But you know, even he has said, like, I don't have as much time able to put into the game. This is like one of the, as you get older, it's a problem that we all have, right? And then you've got SPART1E, who I think has probably shown more discipline in his matches here at QuakeCon 2023 than we've really ever seen before. So I would say that he's, you know, actually been quite impressive with what we've seen so far.
Waiting for the party. Waiting for the party to pop off.
But, you know, this matchup might be different, right? We got two players who just want to go toe-to-toe, head-to-head, like two alpha bulls in a matchup that, fortunately for both of them, doesn't mean anything with regards to tournament life. It means something with regard to seeding. So they can actually play a little bit less restrained and enjoy themselves. They might not, but that's what the cards might hold.
We'll see. Well, before we jump into the picks and bans, let's actually hear from SPART1E. Sat down with him before the tournament and see what he had to say.
My name is Sebastian Sira. My nickname is SPART1E. My nickname comes from Spartacus a long time ago, but I shortened it to SPART1E. My favorite champion depends on what map it is, but on most of the maps, Strog is my favorite, but also like Nyx or Visor. My favorite weapon is Railgun because I'm good at it. This is my 10th QuakeCon. My best memory is from 2008 when I played in the finals, but we'll see if I can get there this year. It's gonna be cool to play another Swede, TOXJQ, this tournament. Already in group stage, so yeah, it's gonna be cool. This year, I feel that Wenger has the best chances of winning with the close Raf and Kilsen behind Wenger. But Wenger has been looking the sharpest so far. Thanks to all my fans and to all the people I'm meeting at QuakeCon. I'll see you in the bar.
There it is, SPART1E.
I wasn't kidding. I wasn't kidding. I'm waiting for it.
There it is. But we heard a couple of things in there, right? Like the excitement to play versus TOXJQ, another Swede. I kind of like that that's there. And then also just sort of what he didn't say, which was like no mention of Razy in there at all, who is, you know, second place king right now. So
yeah, definitely interesting.
It's yeah, very interesting what we heard from him. So should we look at the picks and bans, maybe?
I think it's time.
Let's do it.
And let's not forget, he was in the grand finals in 2008. That's legacy. But Blood Covenant, Awoken, and Deep Embrace are going to be the maps for us. Dan, you want to run through the champs?
Yeah, we're starting off strong with the Athena versus the Nyx. We actually saw Tox play Athena earlier today over on the Beak stream when he took on Garpy. It was, you know, there was moments of rustiness there. He definitely looks better playing the likes of the Slash, or which we found out, or the Strog, but he's definitely pushing his boat out and trying to play that Athena. The Nyx, you know, want to countering that with the Light Champion, the same ability, but having that defensive capability as well. So obviously a great pick for Blood coming up. Awoken, pretty stereotypical there. A little bit surprised that range wasn't picked up, instead opting for the Doom on Tox's side, so just wants to play quite stable and slow. Spotty saying Strog is his favorite champion. It's a great champion for Awoken. And then Deep Embrace, you're kind of scraping the barrel with the champions a little bit.
How often do you see an Iceverse Galene on Deep Embrace? Like, it doesn't happen very often.
I think it just shows also a little bit the mindset on LAN now, because we've seen basically no heavies today. Like, saw like you would see time and time again, Scalebearer situational, just avoiding them on LAN. So the meta is
I'm standing right here. You can't even say his name in front of me.
Flashbacks of like, you know, 50% win rate, like not even close.
His name is Keel. You can say his name.
I have a clip on my phone of someone saying Scalebearer is unbeatable. So we can talk later. But
we'll see Scale at some point in this tournament.
At least in the best of 7.
Not in the ban column.
We're seeing it in the bans, which is respect. But anyway, I think it shows a lot of these players. I haven't like drilled into it yet, but you know, playing in a LAN environment where it is easier to hit, those heavies become even more vulnerable and even more situational.
Yeah.
So this is why we're seeing a little bit of a more unusual rounding out of this set.
Yeah, and again, like no one set or in danger to be eliminated, but definitely will play into where they are seated in the round of 16. I have to say, like of a lot of the matches that we've seen, sure, there's been some really exciting elimination matches that have taken place. Some kind of heartbreaking, but this one I'm just excited for what you said, right? You've got two Quake players that just want to go in and duke it out, and sometimes that results in some of the best games that you could possibly get. So a lot of legacy here in this across many different Quake titles, and so to have them now battling it out here to officially, you know, find their spot in the round of 16 here at QuakeCon 2023, quite great.
It's going to be great, but predictions? What do we got?
You know, I think like my default would be to just go to Toxic, but I have to say I've been more impressed with Sparty, how he's handled himself. He definitely was playing, I think, a much sort of smarter game, using his rail that he says he likes and that he's really good at, but doing so in a way that was just opening up a lot of opportunities for him. So I don't think this is by any means a walkover for Toxic, and I think Sparty will give him something. That third map is kind of like throwing me off, because I do think that we've got a 2-1 potential here, but I'm not quite sure which way it's going to go.
I completely agree with that. I was going to say definitely 2-1. I'm edging towards Toxic just from what I've seen today, but either way, this is a matchup that I don't think anyone's favorite.
I'm going to go 2-0 Sparty because I'm crazy. So the party starts now, chat, okay? Everyone's going to recognize. No, I feel like Toxic, again, his defense and earlier against Garpy, the game we got to cast, Dan and I, he did look really solid. Some flubs, but I think he's pretty strong. But I think a little bit underlying, again, it's kind of comfortable. You're just playing for seeding, but also, you know, that inner Swede kind of battle. Who's going to be the superior one? I feel like there was a little undertone.
There you go.
Sparty said there was a little bit of that where he's just like, I'm excited to play this and kind of, you know, say I'm the better one. So
blood, right?
I'm just saying, there's a little bit of that. But as you guys mentioned, the third map pick is a little weird. We're used to seeing that on Veil, but Deep Embrace, I kind of wanted to go to 3 so we could see what the hell's going to go on.
We're too big for this desk.
I'm standing right here.
You're too big. I
keep bumping into you.
I'll just do one of these over here, give you guys space.
I was thinking earlier when me, you, and Flea were casting, we're probably the biggest trio in esports casting history at the moment, you know?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
And they just bring it down the averages.
Yeah.
Oh, you stepped off your box.
Yeah, they didn't give me an apple box like I needed.
All right. Hey, we're going
there's a game
for this one, so take it away, gentlemen. Have fun.
There's a game.
Thank God.
And we are live between Sparty and Toxic. Map number 1 here at the Quake World Championships, live from Dallas for QuakeCon. Tox starting off on that Athena. We're going to be on his POV, grabbing that light armor before maximizing and doubling back for the heavy.
Yeah, and you know, the rail's obviously going to be fundamental on Blood Covenant, but with both these players, as great as they are with the weapon, two of the more erratic when it comes to the percentages. So if they can start connecting, stringing those together, it's going to be, you know, a bloodbath, very back and forth. But if not, or even as I say that, Tox just brings out a double rail without the zoom onto a Nyx from distance.
See, the problem is that Sparty didn't clarify I like to use the railgun. He's just eating railgun right now. Tox is like, oh, you like rails? Here's rails. It's two good ones, but Sparty's able to stack back up, so not a big deal. But does need to try and get in on that so he can fight at a distance. I like the fake there. Nice little play from Tox. Should have him cornered for some damage. Can Sparty be sneaky? The Tribolt trying to serve it up from down below. Rockets on the exit. Never mind, it's going to be the rail instead. Now the hunt is on, maybe?
Nice.
No, he wants the Mega.
Yeah, I like the fake rocket jump, trying to force the double back from Sparty, not to be, leaving the Mega up, actually delaying it. Not sure how intentional this massive delay is, or whether he's just so focused on blood that he just locks onto his opponent. But either way, he's actually just going to forfeit the Mega in exchange for a heavy. We saw that a few times earlier today, 40, where his Athena maybe just a little bit rusty, just whiffing.
Tactical fake out. But the Mega's still up.
I mean, Swedes don't care about items, they care about rails.
I thought there was a gentleman's agreement that we're not going to pick any of these up, says Sparty. This isn't a party at all. But yeah, so Tox even after all of that. I mean, massive delay between the items. Trying to find some opening damage, and Sparty has to kind of make himself...
Oh, Tox Bolt comes out as well.
Nice rail there as he drops down for the light, and this is going to be a big cutoff here. LG, Sparty's trying to back up onto that heavy, and he does, and he ghost walks, but the rail connects before.
Yeah, important rail, obviously. Nullifying the pickup. You know, these exchanges are huge on light versus light. Any unreturned damage, particularly a rail, fundamental. And wow, Tox just talked about it. If he's hitting, he will hit hard, and that's what's happening already. Sparty doing a good job just to keep stable, keep that high ground. That's what the Nyx needs to do.
Oh
my
no!
God.
Oh, too much partying there as he just ran into a brick wall. Sparty takes out Sparty, -1, 230 in. And that's a big rail from Tox. Trying to find another one here. There's a cutoff shotgun and has to force out the Ghost Walk. That's going to be a Mega. And now he's left with nothing but 50 HP. And just missing out with that rail is Tox. But there's so much time between the heavy. He's able to drop down. Just a little tickle is all it took. Up 2 frags. Tox looking so hot right now.
Yeah, he misses that rail, but he's got plenty of time to finish off Sparty. And at the moment, it is looking painful for Spartacus as has to get out of dodge, but no Ghost Walk, no life, no weapons. There is not a lot in his corner at the moment.
Pretty brutal start here. Again, at this point, I think, Dan, you can agree that you just have to make yourself scarce on the map, try and get some resources and slow everything down, because going against an Athena and the momentum, it could be just horrific. He needs to try and get in on some items, some defensive damage. That rocket's going to be decent, but he needs to be careful. Nice choice there from Tox. Wants to make sure the heavy doesn't go away, but he might patrol this armor if he wants. Actually, he's going to go straight for the Mega. Wants to make sure positioning on that is perfect so he can keep running the map. And Sparty with the Ghost Walk, and that's enough to make Tox back away.
I don't think Tox heard the Ghost Walk, because you see him...
Heard the jump pad at the very least.
100%, but you can see him slightly confused, so... Didn't need to forfeit that, and one of the things that Tox needs to be conscious of is almost the reverse of what we would talk about on a weekly basis, which is he's giving a lot of respect and breathing room to his opponent, and this is why Sparty's being able to slowly get himself back into this particular map. So what I would actually like to see from Tox is slightly faster tempo to keep his opponent weak and vulnerable. But at the end of the day, he is playing against Nyx, and when that Ghost Walks up, you've got to be careful.
Tox Bolt not landing on that one. Sparty trying to get a little bit of his own. Nice rail there. Sparty's trapped. Tox misses with the follow, can drop down for another one, and he does so. And just like that, Athena's in your face. There's no escape here as Sparty's just getting peppered from every angle, and he's like, please stop. But Tox relentless as that positioning was just fantastic from Tox there on that heavy.
Yeah, and his control's been good. Again, something we would not often credit him for. Just solid fundamentals, and that's when he's scary. You say it, these type of mechanically gifted players, if they can maintain that presence of mind, they can keep that control. You have to do something quite special to boot them off the map.
And again, getting caught on his way to the heavy, can't even steal it. Tried to put his hand across the finish line, and Tox said no. Now he's up by 4 as Sparty's still on -1.
There's moments like that where you're just praying your opponent's going to miss. There's not much else you're really doing except, I just hope they don't hit me. Oh, Tox is going to go in aggressively. He knows he's got plenty of time to steal away that Ghost Walk, and at the moment, Spuddy does not have an answer. Hasn't got a weapon at the moment. He's just trying to tickle from below. Can't really contest from down there. He's just trying to find a way to get out.
Tox playing with fire a little bit there. You don't want to get floated, but he does get away. And now makes his way to the heavy, and he has had such a firm grip on this map for 6 minutes. It feels like Sparty hasn't gotten an item.
I can't be surprised. I think the last one he really had was stealing away that Mega. He got close to touching the heavy, but shut down.
Did just get a Mega, so maybe a bit of a lifeline here, but he's still got a lot of work to do here. Trying to get a little bit of rail going. There's one. There's the wall jump. Make it 2. Can he make it 3? Tox is getting out of there using the hook. Putting walls in between him and Sparty. Does use a little bit of Tri-Bolt. Does Sparty on the way out, and now 95 HP. Tox on the back foot, so just like that, Sparty kind of takes map control, but oh wait, there's the heavy that he forgot about. So now he has to pivot back, but after the Mega and try and keep up this damage while Tox, I would say, has a pretty decent stack, all things considered, because look at the time down.
Yeah, and Tox can exactly just burn down the clock at the moment. He hasn't got any rappels up, so that's one of the reasons why he's playing it slow. Trying to get his gauge on the opponent as well. Spuddy with that Ghost Walk up might need to start changing strategy to use that a bit more aggressively at this moment in time. At the moment it's just been to try and steal away items or either to defend himself, so has to change his approach play and his strategy to try and find an answer, because this distance rail game is not going his way.
Yeah. It is unfortunate. For a second there, I thought we were on the Travel Channel because it's Rail Wars, Dan. That's an American joke, as the Mega is taken by Toxic, but the Ghost Walk aggressive.
There we go.
And then straight into some Rocket and Rail, and Sparty gets a bit of a piping on that one, and he is kind of licking his wounds, does grab the armor and makes a mad dash for the heavy, but nothing's up for 14 seconds. So now Tox kind of baiting that lower armor. Is Sparty gonna bite? And there's the hook, surprise! Good rockets from Sparty, and he turns it around. Toxic gets blown up out of the sky, and Sparty back on 0.
Reset to his default, but no, he has at least got himself on the board somewhat. There isn't a lot of time left, though. We know how much you can burn the clock as an Athena. We saw it when he was chasing down Sparty before with that verticality. Big rocket coming out from Spartan, and he actually gets the frag. Still 2 to go, but there is 2 minutes. Now Sparty has this control. The items are split, but not enough where you can control both. So Sparty has to make a decision here.
Oh, and with that rail, the decision's made for him. Yeah, exactly. 8 HP. Does have the Ghost Walk, but just wants to stack back up before using it just to live. But most importantly, this is burning time. Tox looks like he picks the heavy, which gives the Mega to Sparty and a bit of a lifeline, but time is a-ticking, and that's going to be crucial. Minute 30 to get 2 frags on this map. There's a rail before the Ghost Walk. Here's the chase. There's the Athena hook, and wow. Tox with the LG just so strong. Great defensive play.
And that's the frustration playing up against an Athena, even as a Nyx on this particular map. You are mobile, but you are not an Athena, my friend, and she was just gone, like the wind.
Yeah, that's got to be brutal. I like that. You did good. Anyway, 2 frags, 1 minute. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, I mean, what do you do, Sparty? You get maybe one more major, and you just got to start pushing at this rate.
Yeah, you have one more Ghost Walk up, but you just have to use to try and trap and surprise your opponent. He knows where the Athena is. Another hook going up. This time failed from Toxic, and this is it. This is go time. He has to just... There we go, the double back Ghost Walk, but he's now burned a lot of time. Tox, he saw his opponent a moment too late. And now what do? You gotta play some Clan Arena.
Gotta get crazy. Tox giving him a slight opportunity, a little risky. Drops down, grabs the vials, but Sparty says, I'm going to grab the heavy. I'm going to try and make my way over. And the rail, okay, there it is, connects after Tox hits one of his own. There's another one. That one's easy down the hallway, and Tox almost connects with the third. Sparty doesn't really have a choice. He's going to try and make a play for the Mega. That's going to give him a little bit more tank to deal with. But with 10 seconds left, even if he gets this frag, which he does, the time management from Tox was fantastic. Played defensive when he needed to, and again, edges this one out on Blood Covenant. Very well done from Tox. Strong defensive play.
Oh my god, how many times have you said that in the last year?
It feels like he's turned it around. It's almost as if LAN is different from online, Dan. I don't know. It's crazy, but this is the Tox we want to see, playing more solid, able to close out games. Very well done from Tox.
Yeah, it's a good hypothesis. The balance is there. The balance is there. I felt in the early stages of the game, it was almost too far that way.
Yeah.
But at that point, he'd already built himself a decent enough lead, and we saw it was more than sufficient to see it out. The problem for SPART1E was obviously these opening engagements where he was just unable to get any sort of reasonable damage on his opponent, and that gave license for Tox to play as free as he wanted. And really the standout for me was that control from Tox.
Yeah.
5-6 minutes where it felt like SPART1E, as you said, didn't even have an item. The turnaround came here, 7:45, but it was just not enough time to make a comeback.
Yeah, not enough, unfortunately. We didn't even see a ton of rails connect for SPART1E, which is unfortunate as well. But, I mean, you got to hand it to Tox. I think Tox just played better. He played more solid when he needed to. And again, that time management comes into play, and he played the way he needed to. Very close as we take a look at the accuracies there from Blood Covenant. 3-2, a close one. A close one.
It was close, and the accuracy didn't feel as high as it was, but he just didn't have the weapon an awful lot. You know, 53%, but only 700 damage against Tox's 51 and 1600. That was the definitive turning point. Tox was able to punish SPART1E time and time again. It's basically the only weapon he used. So really well played by Tox. As we said, methodical, patient. That is qualities that you need to take this further in the tournament. If you can couple that now with a more balanced, aggressive play style, that's when he becomes the Terminator. That's when he becomes scary.
Absolutely terrifying thought there to have. But Awoken, SPART1E could maybe come back in this one. There's still the ability. And again, this isn't like a knockout game or anything. It's just for seeding into the brackets. So again, SPART1E, not a lot of pressure, to be completely honest. He does want to perform. He doesn't want to do well, but he also wants to party, Dan.
Yes.
You're like, I hate this. This is my nightmare.
There isn't a lot of pressure, but at the end of the day, it's the difference between playing someone like a Venga or a Razy or a Rafa versus someone maybe like a Nosfa, that was still a good player.
Do you think SPART1E not mentioning Razy could come back to haunt him?
Oh,
he's like, remember when you didn't mention me for a contender? And then they get matched up in the... I'm just saying.
I don't think Razy's watching the stream.
You're right, because he's practicing diligently.
Yes, exactly.
As we are loading up into map number 2, it is going to be Awoken. And again, the Doomslayer versus the Strogg. You were a little surprised that Tox didn't go Ranger because it was still available in the pool.
I wouldn't say surprised. I would just say Ranger, when played correctly, is a little bit stronger. But, you know, Doom is just still an incredibly effective champion to control the map, which is all Tox wants to do, right? He doesn't want to have these shenanigans, nothing extra to think about. Let's keep it to the basics. But obviously we know Ranger has very, very high highs on a map like Awoken. The Doom, as we know, pretty much the meta pick back when it was released, and this map was released for a particularly good reason. So offers a lot of good utility still nonetheless.
This is it right now. Map number 2 is live. We're live on Toxic's POV. SPART1E has to try and clap back to potentially send us to a map number 3. SPART1E making his way. Tribolt, LG trying to get everything to just start the onslaught that we might see. But again, more measured Tox this event that we've seen. Not quite unleashing the beast, so to speak, working on the control movement around the map. And it's turning out great for him so far. So why mess with the formula when it's working, Dan?
Exactly. How?
Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
Doesn't even need the zoom button.
I don't think he has it bound. No. Maybe just for machine gun. Tri-bolt? Okay, that would have been pretty. Again, yet to see the Tox bolt so far, but we know that he has it in his back pocket if he needs it.
That was quite a spectacle. They're so slow.
Oh,
he
didn't spot. Okay, he did at the last second.
So
out of the damn wings. Oh no. Tox says, I'm going to disengage. The peeker was popped from SPART1E. And so now I think Tox heard that and he knows that he's a little bit free to roam, so to speak. Playing very, very slow. Nice play to catch him out, but just a tickle. That's all it is, and misses with that rail. But you could see he's already forcing him on this side of the map and not allowing SPART1E to kind of traverse the map as he pleases, which as a Strogg, I mean, you want to use that movement, flow around the map, and Toxic is saying, I'm cutting the map in half, and you're lucky that you even have that.
What is so fascinating when you watch Tox, but also so difficult to actually articulate and analyze, is just he plays at such a high tempo with his aim. He creates such unique and quick angles and always fires. And this is why, you know, his percentages aren't as high as some other players, but his damage output is just insane because he just uses his every opportunity. He manufactures potential damage, and that is one of his greatest strengths. And we've seen it already. SPART1E's barely laid a finger on him, but Tox has hit multiple rails, multiple tickles of LG, etc., etc. And it all adds up over time.
Indeed, and look at that. Peeker's actually going to do a little bit of damage on there. Oh, big rocket. Might go for another one. Tries to serve up that rail through the drive-through window, but no dice.
Let's not forget the Berserk does exist. It is an ability.
It is. It
but
is.
It's more of an escape tool. So Tox does have that if he needs to get out as well.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you can cancel that. I'll never shut up about that because the speed burst into having an actual weapon out and not just being stuck with your fist is fantastic. But we're closing in on 3 minutes, and this one's a bit of a chess match here as Toxic playing very, very slow, waiting for the right opportunity to strike here. Sparty not really laying the damage down that he wants to open up the game and try and push in and get a frag, and I think Tox is more than happy with that. Again, this is kind of his pace.
Is it?
I feel like this Tox that we've seen, he's playing slow every game, and again, it's working for him. So interesting to see for sure.
Well, he's definitely getting good use of that walk key.
I was going to say, his keyboard might be stuck. Yeah. I'm going to walk over and give it a quick gander as he might sneak up. This is so bad. Oh, no. Why? And that's it. That's the slickest play we've seen. That's top 10 easily. That
was oh my god, how did that rocket not hit as the Doom Berserk come out? Tox turned into a ninja right there. I'm losing my voice with all this shouting.
I love it. Oh, the rockets are so good from Sparty. Can he finish though? The Tri-Bolt not gonna land. There's the drop. The Mega's up. 15 HP. Sparty's gonna grab the light armor. He's gonna make his way off the jump pad. When he secures it and the machine gun actually finds the bullet, and Tox is like, I just don't get it. But how?
What is happening? Yeah, 1-1, 4 minutes in. They've got 2 fights, 2 frags. Very standoffish. Sparty pushing the bolt out. Long? Oh, that wasn't a rail, right? Was that a visual bug?
No. You don't see that skin? That's new. Anyways, 2-1, Sparty up with a nice combo, rocket to rail.
Okay.
And 5 minutes in, just about 4:20 in. And it almost clips the shoulder, and Sparty's like, I don't like that. No, thank you. But he does go back to the Mega, and he does have the light armor available, but it's a matter of, do I want to try and attack the heavy? And with the mobility, he might be able to get both in terms of opening up an angle, but no, he doesn't even want to risk it. He's going to let Tox grab that one for free, and he just wants to control center map that we saw Tox doing earlier, and kind of cut the map in half and make it easier to try and track down this second frag, or third, excuse me, to try and really open it up by 2.
But what we have seen is as soon as Sparty has this control, which is, this effectively pretty much the first time this series, he's finding better openings to increase the tempo and keep that pressure on. Good retaliation damage from Tox, but Sparty now can get across this heavy if he wants to. Tox isn't going to show face. As I say that, he does exactly that.
He heard you, and he's like, how dare you speak to me this way?
Well, Sparty was late, so he's only got himself to blame for giving up that item. He's trying to get out. He's looking for the rocket jump, but it is there. But he's taken so much damage in the process. He's going to just have to maintain position and try and use his posturing to bully away Tox. He does exactly that, hitting that rail. Tox is low. He's going to go around the corner. They're going to exchange, but no, both miss. Tri-Bolt flicking around, rail to respond. Tox is low, and Sparty knows it.
Oof, that rail. And there it
Nice.
is. Sparty doesn't give up on the hunt. Wins himself the Mega. Knowing that he could fall back to the major item, I do like the risk of just hanging in there and knowing that Tox was low. And now he has full map control. Adds a little bit of a split as well.
Yeah, so that previous mishap on the heavy actually comes to his favor as it adds to the split, allows that control to be fully solidified. Now the question is, what's Tox going to do? We've not seen an awful lot of proactiveness coming out from Tox. Now the retaliation damage from Sparty is good. He's going in aggressively. The zoom is there, and he couldn't even see his opponent, but he does get the frag. It's messy, but it's there.
Yeah, had to zoom out a little bit, but he found it eventually as Tox tried to make something happen before that Mega pickup. And unfortunately faltering, and now he's down by 3. Sparty looking strong on this one. He wants that third map. A bit of a rail attempt there, but the LG kind of messing with Sparty's aim. Now trying to lay claim to whatever resources he can on the LG side of the map before fighting potentially for this Mega, but Tox kind of has superior positioning on this, cutting off the banana.
Just approaching 3 minutes to go, and Sparty's feeling confident. You can see it in his aim. He's connecting far more than we've seen already. Although this time that miss is huge as Tox is ready with the LG and he's punishing for it. He does fall on down. He does now pick up that heavy and he can keep the pressure on. You can see how low Sparty is. Tox just doesn't have the angle to finish off his opponent.
Really nice peeker damage though.
Yeah.
Not too bad considering he had to concede the item, but the problem is the damage he took, he's now going to have to concede the Mega as well. Let's grab the light armor and Tox with a little bit of a lob of water balloons there. But the Mega's up, and Tox is on the wrong side of the map. What has happened, Dan?
He's reverted to type. He's got the heavy though, he's got the timing for that, and he knows where Spotty's position is, but he eats a huge rocket right there. And in doing so, he's now lost out on all the momentum he was building. And he needs to reset his mind. We saw it in map 1, he absolutely has the capability to do it. But at the moment, allowing Spotty back onto the map, allowing Spotty those free items, just gives him a massive lifeline.
Rocket jumps for the arm, a little risky, but Tox wasn't in a position to punish that, as Tox's health is insane right now. Sparty's going to be able to grab resources in the LG room, conceding the heavy, and Toxic not able to find the shot. So now, stack firmly in favor of Tox, but can he find the damage? Less than 2 minutes.
Nice.
That's a great rail to open things up, and Sparty's going to have to play the run game. Doubles back to grab the bubble, and Toxic stirs up another one and says, "You're back? You want another dose? How about a third?" And there it is. Tox finds the angle, picks him apart with that rail, and says, "Remember your favorite gun? Here it is."
And there is time. There you go. I've said it. There is time.
So proud of you.
And he has all the resources in the world to make it happen as well. Love you, rail. Through the hole right there. The heavy fake rocket jump as well. So he's trying to get Sparty out into the open. Sparty not falling for it. Remember, Sparty's playing the strong, so he's got a bit of his speed, but he's been caught here. Lots of damage coming out from Tox. Definitely not a killable range, but there it is!
Beautiful. Minute 10, down by a frag. And this will just be incredible if Tox can bring this one back. It wasn't the biggest deficit, but we've seen Tox with the lead able to maintain it. Yet to see Tox come back from a deficit and then close out a game, and he has a minute to do so to try and find this frag.
Yeah. But time to paint this Mega if he wants to, and potentially sweep around to the heavy. The other opportunity is to use it as bait, and that's exactly what he could do. Is he caught Spotty from above to be able to tie up? No, big rocket to deny him that progress. But once again, there he is for a rail!
Deja vu, Dan!
Literally deja vu. 4-4, 30 seconds to go. The Terminator has now the timing he needs. What is Sparty gonna do?
Not again. Oh, Sparty, please.
Sparty's just tried to run the last 2 minutes, and it's just not been the approach he needed.
Oh no, oh no.
Headbutts the Pika, but he just doesn't care. He has all the stack he needs to push on through. Misses that critical rail. Sparty's not railable, but he hasn't got anything to fight with either. No resources on the map, and Tox knows it. Heavy's got plenty of time. He can take this fight. He can fall back onto it if he needs to. He hits the rail, and this is all she wrote. He can take away the resources. He can leave Sparty there to die. There's nothing up for him on the map. Tox can just bully his way into this next fight.
This is a different Tox.
Yeah.
He doesn't chase. He just gets the items instead, and this one's easy. And there it is. And this is a crazy Tox. This is crazy. Absolutely fantastic play. Welcome back, Wheat.
Hello.
And that was a fantastic display from Tox, playing from behind, but still calculated near the end, not chasing too much, making sure the items are still in his grasp, and then making that last frag look easy. Tox looks hot right now. Tox looks hot right now.
You got to think about that last frag exchange there, and when Toxic tied the game back up, he was in control, and you know it's like the place that you don't want to be when you're, as you mentioned, right? You can go too defensive too early, and then that can just open up doors for your opponent. And I feel like Toxic, as you guys mentioned, really played that well and capitalized on it. Like it's one of those rare moments when it hits sudden death, but your opponent's stack and kind of their control is optimally where they want to be, and there's not much that you could do, which is why I came over, because I was pretty sure Tox was going to win that one after that.
You got it right this time. But no, Sparty...
Damn.
Sparty did exactly that, as you just mentioned. He went defensive very early. Now, let's credit Tox, because the reason he went defensive was because Tox was playing so effectively. He was dealing damage at the right time, and that was giving Sparty just no confidence to contest these items. There was a big split between the two major items, and Tox was able to rotate them. And even though Sparty was trying to make a move to steal them, he wasn't able to define any approach play to threaten Tox in order to enable that steal.
Yeah.
Beard power. That's the only thing I could think of. It's the beard power.
Sure. I mean, you've got one, and
I'm weak.
Yeah,
I'm very weak. Don't look at me. How dare you, Dan? How dare you call that
It's the
out?
length. See, you need a little bit more length.
I'm trying.
I think.
All right, I'm trying.
It goes below the neck here with Toxic. So.
I'm trying to cover up the triple chin as best as I can, but as we take a look at the breakdown, you can't help but notice Sparty's rail. The percentage not that great, not a lot of damage, and that's kind of what he needed to even things out a bit.
Yeah, I don't think Sparty should be disappointed with that, that series overall.
No, not at all. And again, it was more of a seeding thing. Like, I think it'd be pretty funny if he ran into Razy now that he didn't call him out earlier. And he's like, oh, I get to play you in the bracket? Sorry, I forgot your name. We'll see how it shakes out. But again, not really a high-stakes game for Sparty, and we'll see him at the bar in a bit. So it's fine. It's fine. This is fine. I feel fine.
This is fine.
It was a job well done today, right?
Yeah.
He'd achieved what he set out to do, which was to make sure he made it in today.
Absolutely.
2, he did that. This would have been an added bonus on top. That little cherry, but he can now go and put that in his margarita or something.
Yeah, and well, we'll see. We'll see if he's gonna wait to party or not. But I do think that he showed, I think, I wouldn't say a new Sparty, but a very disciplined Sparty, right? Like, I'm happy with how he was playing. So, all right, well, gentlemen, we're going to take another break. When we come back, it's going to be our 6th and final match here for groups. There's still some games going on the B stage as well, so make sure that you've got both of those open. But when we return, the action here from QuakeCon 2023 for the Quake World Championship continues. Don't go away.